Hello everybody, hope you are doing well. Today I'm going to show you how to send a text message using Firebase. So before we start coding, let me explain the logic behind it. As you can see, we will have a new collection called messages, and there we will have first the ID of the first user, mp1 for example, and if I go to users, mp1 is Nancy Wheeler, and we will have also another ID of the second user. If I go to users here, we will find that fa2 is the ID of Dwight Schrute. So as you can see, mp1 and fa2 will have also the ID of mp1. So Dwight Schrute have and the ID also of Nancy Wheeler. And here we got some document ID where you find the message. If we go also to Nancy Wheeler, you can check that it's the same W54, which is the same document ID for both. So it's very simple. If we try to sum it up, we will have a collection of message. Then when there is a two message between two users, we will have the ID of first user and the ID of the second user. And for both of them, they will have the ID of the other user. Then they will share the same document ID, and the document ID will contain the message. For example, in this case, it's hello. It's very simple, but let's start coding, and even in coding, you will see how easy it is. So let's go to our message. First of all, we will import Firebase, and we will import Firebase Firestore Swift. Okay, perfect. We will add a chat partner ID, which is the guy or the user we are talking to. So var chat partner ID. It will be of type string, and we will make here a little test. So if from ID is equal to the current user, so auto dot current user dot uid, then we will return the two ID. Else, if from ID is not our current user, so in that case we will return from ID. Okay, perfect. We will also have a variable to check if it's from the current user. So var is current user, and it will return a boolean, and we will make a test. Return from user or from ID, I apologize, is equal to auth.current-user.uid. So if from ID is equal to the ID of the current user, in that case it means it's from the current user. If not, it returns false. And the reason why I added these two variables, we don't really need them in our model, but it will help us later have less code in our app, and that it is really helpful. For this one, we can delete the comments. I think I wrote it wrong, so timestamp, it's this way. Okay, perfect. And the last thing, we will use a document ID. And as you can see, it's a property wrapper type that marks a document reference or string. And you see it's optional. It returns a document identifier, so it's specific for Firebase, but it will help us here because we will use the same document ID, and we will create a var ID of type optional string, or I already got an ID, message ID, let's call it, of type optional string. And in my ID, I will change it here, it will be var ID of type string, and it will return ID or apologize, I meant message ID. And because message ID is optional, if it's nil, in that case we will return uuid string. Okay, that's very simple. Now we need the function that enable us to send a message to Firebase. So we will go to our service, we will create a new file. It will be a Swift file, and we will call it chat service. And here we are going to import Firebase. We will have a class, call it chat service, and we will create a static func. We will call it send message. It will take, of course, message text of type string. We will also need the chat partner, so chat partner of type user. We will also need to check if it's an image or not. If you remember, when you see here, for example, when it's a text, you see that is image is false, is video is false, and this one I think it's missing, is audio also is false, because it will only have a message check if its image is false and its video is false and its audio is nil or false. Okay, so I need also to check that its image is false, so its image is a boolean. I will also have is video, it will also be a boolean, and is audio, and it will also be a boolean. But for now we will give it false for the three of them. Okay, and the first thing, if you remember, if I go back to my messages, the first thing I need the user ID and the partner ID. So first thing, our user ID. So I will have guard let user ID, or current user ID, let's call it a better name. Current user ID, it will be equal to auth current user dot uid, and else return. The second thing, as you can see, is our chat partner ID. So we need the other ID, so it will be let chat partner ID, and we can get it from the chat partner user, so equal chat partner dot ID. Okay, perfect. Now we want to have a complete reference inside our message, so we will start with the current user, so let current user ref, and it will be equal to firestore dot collection, and the collection, as you can guess, it's messages, so dot collection messages. Then we will have a document, and the document, the first one will be our current user ID, so it will be this one, so we will give it current user ID. Then, as you can see, we got a collection with the chat partner ID, so we will have dot collection, and we will give it chat partner ID. And then inside it, as you can see, we got our document, so dot document. Now we will do the same thing for chat partner ID, so also we will have let chat partner ref, it will be equal to firestore dot collection, it will be messages, and dot document, and in this case, of course, it will be the chat partner ID, and then of course dot collection, it will be the current user ID. And here we are not going to create .document. Okay. And the reason behind it, I think I already explained it, but let me re-explain it. As you can see here, if I go to Nancy Wheeler, which is MP1, to its discussion with FA2, which is Dwight Schrute, you see we got, for example, the first one, it has the ID of W54. If I go back now and I go to Dwight Schrute, which is FA2, its discussion with Nancy Wheeler, that is NP1, you see the first document ID is again also W54, because they got the same document ID. And when you create a document, every document has its own document ID. That's why we won't give it a document, we will use the same document ID. So we will have let document ID, and it will be equal to current user ref dot document ID. That way we are using the same document ID, the same path, everything is the same. And that's perfect in our case. Okay, now we want to send the message, of course, and as you can see, the message contains a number of variables, so we will have let message equal message, and we will use the message ID because we are going to give the message ID the document ID. So it will be document ID. From ID it will be, of course, the current user ID, so current user ID. The two ID will be the chat partner ID. The message text, of course, will be message text. For the timestamp, we will give it the current timestamp with the current date and time. For is image, for now it will be false. Is audio also will be false. Is video, or I think I'm going to give it is image. I prefer to give it is image for the service and set it to false inside my view model. So here I will also give it is audio. For is video, I'm going to give it is video. And for the user, of course, I don't need it now, so let's give it nil. Okay, perfect. The second thing, I need to encode this message so I can send it. So let or guard let message data equal firestore dot encoder dot encode, and we will give it our message, and of course we need try which will be optional, and else if it's nil, of course, return. And now the last step is to set the data. We need to create the message for both users, so it will be for the first one, it will be current user ref, so it will be current user ref dot set data, and we will give it the message data, and that's all we need to create it for the current user. And we need also to create it for the other user, which is the one that is receiving or whatever. So for example, we created now for Nancy Wheeler, but we also need to create it for Dwight Schrute. And as you remember, in current user ref we got the document, but in this one chat partner ref we don't have the document yet, so it will be chat partner ref dot we will add the document path, and it will be the document ID, and then it will be set data, and we also give it message data, and that's all we need to create or to send our message. And as you can see, in the first case we created a current user where you start with a collection of messages, then the current user ID, then the chat partner ID, then with this document the user ID or the ID of the document, and inside it of course all the fields, and for the one that is receiving the same thing. So that's all we need. It's very easy, as you can see. Now all we need is to call our chat service inside our chat view model. So we go to our chat view model, and here we can add a function called send messages or send message, and we will give it chat partner, which will be our user. We will also give it is image of type boolean, is video also of type boolean, and is audio and again of type boolean. We don't really need this boolean for now because we are not checking them yet, but we will need them later when we include adding image messages, video messages, and audio messages. Okay, perfect. Now all we need is to call our chat service dot send message, and we will give it the message text. Then we will give it also the chat partner and is image and is video and is audio, of course, as argument. And that's all we need to send a message. And maybe also we can also make after we are finished sending a message, we can have message text after that is equal to an empty string, or we can also make it inside the view, but let's make it that way for now. Okay, perfect. Now all we need is to go to the button, so this is the button, I think. And here just we need to call view model dot send message. For the chat partner, I think we are already injecting this chat view with selected user, so we give it the selected user. For is image it will be false for now, is video also false for now, and is audio will be also false for now. And that's all we need to send a message, but I believe I got errors because of my mock message group. As you can see, I didn't include timestamp yet, so I probably need to fix it by adding timestamp. That's what we will be doing for now. And soon enough in the next video or the one after, we will get rid of this mock message group. We won't need it anymore, but for now let's keep it. So, and now if I run my project, hopefully everything will be working perfectly. So let's wait for it, and we can now go to my current project, to Firestore database. In my current project, hopefully after we send a message, we will have a collection that has the message, and we will have the user ID and everything. Okay, so let's check. I think I'm logged in with this one, so probably it's WF1. Okay, so I still got a few errors. Okay, apparently must precede argument is image. Now that's one of the things I hate about Xcode, because it's Xcode who added them, and he added them in the wrong position. That's funny, to be honest, mistake from Xcode, but anyway. Hopefully in the next version of Xcode we don't still have to face this little issue, but anyway, hopefully our app will be working perfectly. And again, like I said, now we expect a collection of users, and let's wait, and hope really that you understood the logic behind it. As you can see, in our message you got the user ID, the first user ID, then the second user ID, the one you are talking to, then you got the document ID and inside it the fields, and you do it of course for both of the current user and for the one receiving it. That way both of them got the ID of the user they had discussed with. So for example, in the case of Dwight Schrute, he discussed with Nancy Wheeler and with the user who got this ID also. And then inside there they got all the IDs of the messages they discussed. It's very simple logic if you understand it, and you see even when coding it, it's very easy. So let's check. Okay, as I said, we are logged in as Omar Famry. So let's see which user we will discuss with. So let's check, for example, Thomas Shelby. What's his ID? Oh, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. I went to the wrong one. So this is our current Firestore database. Okay, for that Thomas Shelby it's WG2, and for Omar Famry it's WF1. So let's send a message to Thomas Shelby. Okay, here I will write hi Thomas, and I will click on send. And the first good thing is, as you can see, the message text now is empty, because if you remember, inside my view model, after I send a message, I put message text to be equal to an empty string, which is perfect. That's a good sign. Now let's refresh our database and hopefully we will have a message collection. So now the moment of truth. Okay, perfect. As you can see, we got a message collection. And good, really good, we got, as you can see, two ID. The first one is WG2, and WG2 is, I think, the one of Thomas Shelby. And the second one is WF1. It's the one of the user of me, for Omar Famry. From there we got another, as you can see, for Omar Famry you got the ID of Thomas Shelby, then you got the ID of a document, and inside it you see the message text, which is hi Thomas, with the correct timestamp and everything. And if we go back, we will find the same thing for Omar Famry. As you can see, he got the ID of Thomas Shelby, and from there the same document ID TRX. So if I go to Thomas Shelby, I will find the same document ID, which is perfect. And from there, of course, if I click on the document ID, I find my message text, my timestamp, and everything. And that's all we want to do in today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe, and as always, stay safe, stay healthy, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.